there, I'm Rohit and today we're going to be reading the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel by the Grimm brothers. You ready? Let's read. Hansel and Gretel. There was once a poor woodcutter who lived in the forest with his wife and two children called Hansel and Gretel. The woodcutter loved Hansel and Gretel dearly, but his wife felt quite differently about them. She was their stepmother and wished they were never born. One cold winter, there was not enough food in the woodcutter's house, and everyone was hungry. One night, after the children had gone to bed, the stepmother said to the husband, "Something has to be done, or we will all starve. Tomorrow, you must take the children into the woods and leave them there." "No," gasped the woodcutter, "I couldn't do such an evil thing to them." But the wicked stepmother wouldn't leave the woodcutter alone until he agreed. Luckily for Hansel and Gretel, they heard their stepmother's wicked plan. "What shall we do?" sobbed Gretel. "Don't worry," said Hansel, who had been looking out of the window. "I have an idea." He slipped out into the garden, put a handful of white pebbles into his pocket, and crept back to his bed. The following morning, Hansel and Gretel followed the woodcutter and his wife into the deep forest. Along the way, Hansel kept stopping to drop a pebble onto the ground. When they reached the middle of the forest, the woodcutter made a fire and told the children he would return at the end of the day. Of course, he never did. Night fell and strange sounds filled the forest. "How shall we find our way home?" sobbed Gretel. "Don't worry," said Hansel. "Wait until the moon rises." Well, at last the moon began to shine. The white pebbles twinkled like stars. As Hansel had planned, they followed the pebbles all the way home. The woodcutter was overjoyed at his children's safe return. Later, the family had even less food in the house. Again, the children heard their stepmother say to their father, "Tomorrow you must take the children farther into the woods and leave them." After much argument, their father agreed. When they had gone to sleep, Hansel tried to go outside to collect some pebbles, but his stepmother had locked the door. The following morning, the children were given a crust of bread and told to follow their father into the forest. As he walked, Hansel dropped breadcrumbs behind him. Eventually, their father led them to a different part of the forest. "I'll be back when I've finished work," said the woodcutter. Of course, he never returned. "Don't worry," Hansel said to Gretel. "When the moon rises, we will be able to follow the breadcrumbs home." However, when the moon rose, there were no breadcrumbs. The birds of the forest had eaten them. Hansel and Gretel wandered in the forest all night long, but they got more and more lost. Eventually, they grew so tired that they lay down to sleep. In the morning, the children walked deeper into the forest until they came to a little cottage. It was made of bread, cakes, and sweets. Hansel and Gretel were so hungry that they began to break bits off to eat. Suddenly, the door swung open and out burst a witch. "Gotcha, you nasty nippers," she cackled, grabbing Hansel and Gretel. "You think you can scoff my house, do you? We'll just see how you like being eaten." Then she dragged the children into her cottage and threw Hansel into a cage. "When he's big and fat, I'm gonna eat him. Ha 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 ha!" Over the next weeks, the witch gave the finest food to Hansel, but she gave Gretel only scraps and bones. Gretel gave one of these bones to her brother. "Hold it when the witch asks for a finger to feel how fat you are," said Gretel. "She's so blind that she won't know the difference." Gretel was right. The witch was amazed that Hansel did not grow fatter. Then, one day, she could not wait any longer. "Fat or thin, I'm going to eat him," she crackled. "Light the oven, Gretel." Weeping, poor Gretel did as she was told. Soon, the fire beneath the oven was blazing. "Is it hot enough yet?" asked the witch, who was beginning to grow hungry. "I don't know," said Gretel. "How can you tell?" "Out of my way, you stupid girl," growled the witch. She pushed Gretel aside and struck her head in the oven. Quick as a flash, Gretel pushed the evil witch into the oven and slammed the door shut. Gretel quickly found the witch's keys and released Hansel. Then they used the keys to open all the chests in the witch's cottage. Inside, they found gold, silver, and precious stones. "Father should be able to buy all the food we need with this," said Hansel, filling his pockets. Once more, the children set off in search of home. They walked through the forest for a long time. Then, at last, they came to a place they knew and were able to find their father's cottage. Their father, whose wife had left him, was overjoyed to see them. His happiness was even greater when he saw the treasures that Hansel and Gretel had brought. "Ah, we need never go hungry again," he cried, hugging Hansel and Gretel. And from that day, they knew nothing but happiness. Well, that's the end of the story, and I hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe this video if you liked it, and hit the bell icon if you want to know when my next video comes out. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.